I'm convinced this is why Sister Wives Kody Brown doesn't love Robyn. Kody Brown loves Aurora more. But why? Please subscribe to my channel before starting the video. How must it feel after dedicating years of your life to a marriage, only to feel increasingly sidelined as your spouse's attention gravitates towards someone else? Oh, and that someone is also their wife. It sounds frustrating, right? But that's exactly what happened on Sister Wives. What was supposed to be a show representing a healthy polygamous dynamic turned into years of chaos, which continued even after 3 of Kody Brown's 4 wives left him. While there were many issues within the family, Kody's glaring favoritism toward Robyn was one of the main sources of conflict. It was a sigh of relief for fans to see his first 3 wives finally leave the toxic dynamic and call out Kody's behavior. For years I thought Kody only wanted to be in a relationship with Robyn. That's where he put all his time and energy. Not only has he claimed to have only loved her, but he's now hinted he may be interested in maintaining their unintentionally monogamous dynamic, even though Robyn is struggling. But just because his eye isn't wandering doesn't mean his attention isn't on someone else, or more accurately himself. I have long called out Kody's narcissistic behavior, and there's been no indication that his self-centered actions have changed. Robyn has even admitted she feels burdened now that she's the only wife left dealing with Kody. Which raises a larger question. Is their love even genuine? Or is his professed love really about control and validation? If Robyn were to follow in the footsteps of her former sister wives, it's likely Kody would cast her as the villain, repeating the very same patterns he showed when his other marriages broke down. If that's the case, then Kody's so-called affection for Robyn may be just as self-serving as his hair care routine. From infatuation to favoritism, Kody's relationship with Robyn. Kody seemed head over heels for Robyn when they first started courting in 2010. But there's a difference between love and infatuation, and when I look at the details of their relationship, I think Kody was feeling the latter. He compared his feelings for Robyn as a teenager experiencing love for the first time. Kody already had 3 wives when he met Robyn, so it's surprising to me, and frankly offensive to his other wives, that he now suggests he never had feelings for them. Robyn represented something new and exciting, a shake-up to the routine he had settled into with Mary, Janelle, and Christine. By the time he married Robyn, he'd been in plural marriage for nearly 2 decades. Kody and Mary legally married in 1990, and they welcomed Janelle in 1993 and Christine in 1994 via spiritual marriage. Those early marriages seemed focused on building a plural family. All the wives came from polygamous backgrounds. When Robyn came along, the Browns hadn't been actively looking to expand the family. In 2014, Kody went to great lengths to legally marry Robyn, something he never did for Janelle or Christine. Kody reasoned that he wanted to legally adopt Robyn's children from a previous marriage, but doing so meant he had to divorce Mary. On the surface, this could look like a grand romantic gesture, but it was also practical and possibly strategic. By legally marrying Robyn, Kody gave his favorite wife a level of legitimacy and security that the others never had, while reinforcing his role as the patriarch. From the beginning I thought Kody's preferential treatment toward Robyn was obvious, and it only became more apparent as the seasons went on. Take the wedding rings, for example. Kody wore the same ring Mary gave him for years, even after spiritually marrying Janelle and Christine. When he began courting Robyn, he insisted on melting that ring down. He then had his wives design and pay for a new classic ring that he started wearing after marrying Robyn. Later, in 2022, viewers noticed Kody wearing yet another new ring, one that was apparently gifted by Robyn, while filming season 18. This came after both Christine and Janelle had left the family, but Kody remained spiritually committed to Mary. For him to switch rings again, replacing one that symbolized his plural family, with one representing only Robyn, was another slap in the face. Mary confronted him about it on camera, but he refused to give her a real answer. Unsurprisingly, Mary announced she was leaving him a few months later in early 2023. Was Robyn Kody's favorite because of love? Probably not. For me, there are countless examples of Kody putting his favoritism for Robyn on display. He hired her a nanny, a luxury he didn't offer to his other wives. He convinced the family to help finance her large new home while the others were still struggling to secure stable housing. Once Robyn was in the picture, it was like he forgot about the rest of the family entirely. It's also extended to the kids. Several of Kody's children with Christine, Janelle, and Mary have said they barely see him and they don't have much of a relationship. Meanwhile, Robyn's children, both from her previous marriage and her kids with Cody, appear to have a much closer bond with him. But all of this isn't necessarily proof of love. If anything, it points to Cody's self-centeredness. He tends to focus his energy where it benefits him the most, or where he feels most respected. It's likely to have been easier for him to bond with Robyn's kids because he's still on good terms with Robyn, whereas his strained relationships with his other, now ex-wives, have made it harder for him to connect with their kids. And as his adult children have become more outspoken, it's likely worsened their strained relationship with Cody. Cody's affection seems conditional. It's based on loyalty and admiration. He uses it like a reward to give to those he sees as worthy. He constantly compared Robyn's behavior to the disrespect and betrayal he claims to have experienced from his other wives. But those women spent nearly 30 years living with Cody. They knew his flaws and weren't afraid to challenge him. But the more they did this, the more Cody seems to have focused on Robyn, putting those marriages to the wayside. Robyn came into the family wearing rose-colored glasses. Everything was fresh, and she and Cody were in the honeymoon phase, whereas that period was long gone for his other relationships. Robyn admitted she was looking for security after leaving an abusive marriage, and she wanted the support and protection of a plural family. In hindsight, it seems to me she may have been more in love with what Cody represented than who he really was. And the same might be said for Cody. He loved how Robyn stroked his ego and reinforced the behavior he wanted to see in his other wives. Robyn has always been the least vocal and the least critical. She's more deferential, which may explain why she's remained in Cody's good graces for so long. Cody, to put it nicely, reacts poorly to being challenged. He likely assumed bringing in a fourth wife would realign the family dynamic and re-establish his dominance. But when the other wives didn't fall in line the way Robyn did, he directed all his positive energy toward her instead, which was likely the start of the end for his first 3 marriages. TLC has never brought in a therapist to analyze the sister wives cast, but maybe they should. Fans have been calling Cody a narcissist for years. While we can't get him an official diagnosis, he does show many of the classic signs: a need for control, lack of empathy, and an inflated sense of self-worth. They say history repeats itself, so it's possible the same cycle could play out with Robyn. Can narcissists truly love someone? According to experts, narcissists tend to equate love with how another person makes them feel about themselves. It's not about emotional intimacy, it's about their ego. This sounds a lot like Cody. Now, that's not to say Cody has NPD, but it seems like both he and Robyn fell in love with what the other represents more than who they truly are. Cody represented protection and stability for Robyn. Robyn represented security and validation for Cody. He loved how she made him feel, especially in contrast to his other wives. When she came along, she admired and supported him, and perhaps most importantly, she didn't challenge him. I think this is why he threw himself into the relationship so quickly and enthusiastically, and established a pattern of favoritism early on. And it also explains why the couple seem to be having issues now, over a decade into their marriage, as Robyn is no longer living with the same rose-colored glasses, maybe ones that are just slightly tinted. Narcissistic relationships tend to follow a pattern. The first stage is idealization, where the narcissist puts their partner on a pedestal. This period is often filled with love bombing, intense praise, and quick emotional escalation, which parallels Cody's early treatment of Robyn. The second stage is devaluation. Once the partner shows signs of independence, questions the narcissist, or no longer boosts their ego, the affection begins to fade. The narcissist may start to pull away, become critical, and emotionally withdraw. The final stage is to discard, where the narcissist detaches emotionally and rewrites the narrative. They may shift blame onto the other person and cast themselves as the victim. While Cody never formally ended any of his marriages, he definitely withdrew emotionally. He told Mary he no longer had interest in intimacy with her. He constantly criticized his wives and pointed out their shortcomings. And after each separation, he painted himself as the victim. When Christine left, Cody accused her of betrayal. It was blatant gaslighting. He was projecting behaviors onto her that he had exhibited himself for years. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were routinely sidelined as Cody prioritized Robyn and her children. But when those wives decided to leave, he couldn't own up to his behavior. So far, Robyn has remained on her pedestal. But now that she's admitted to struggling without the support of her sister wives, there's a chance Cody's affection may start to fade, just like it did in his other marriages. And if he's not willing to be there for her during hard times, then what does that say about the love he claims to have for her? With that being said, the now monogamous Robyn and Cody just bought a new million-dollar property. There are also rumors of a possible spin-off as Sister Wives nears its 20th season. Whether Cody and Robyn stay together or not, there's one thing that I'm sure about. The drama isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. Kody Brown finally sorts out who owns what on Coyote Pass. Coyote Pass in Flagstaff was a big story on Sister Wives, and Kody Brown and his wife Robyn seem to have the lion's share. Finally, it's been sorted out, and the news arrived this week. It wasn't the top story of Season 19 on TLC, but it did feature the wives, as two of the OGs grew angry about it. On April 2, The Sun US reported that Kody settled his Arizona land war with his ex-wives Janelle and Mary after they threatened legal action over the property on the TLC series. The news arrived after the outlet obtained court records of the deal. Citing the documents, Kody Wynn Brown and Robyn Alice Brown, husband and wife, as community property with right of survivorship, as to an undivided 50% interest. Basically, it outlined the ownership as follows. Janelle and Mary Brown, unmarried, each now own 25% of two properties. A third property is now 50-50 between them, transferred from Kody and Janelle. One property remains with Kody and Robyn. On Reddit, TLC fans were quick to comment on the long-disputed story. The OP said that they changed the graphics slightly as there was a minor error. Citing sarcasm, they also noted, everyone signed off on the changes in January except Robyn, who waited until March 26. In the discussion area, a follower wrote, "So after waiting 3 additional months, I hope they then hit her," with, "So now let's talk about our share of your mansion." Another non-fan of Kody Brown and Robyn said, "This is the first step in being able to sell and get a more fair share of the property. It needed to be divided equally. Now they will have to fight to sell it or have Kody and Robyn buy them out. My guess is they all want to sell at this point." Here's another example of the reactions. I think the only reason it finally happened, and the being fair about the 25% each is, because Kody knows he can't get away with cheating them out of their fair share without a huge fallout. The pass went wrong from the start. Initially, fans saw that Kody Brown wanted to build a giant mansion that everyone would live in. At the time, Christine Brown refused to entertain the idea. Jealousy issues got in the way, and it never happened. Later, Janelle Brown was the only person to live there when she spent the summer in an RV. Huge changes to the Coyote Pass ownership have been unveiled, and it's such a relief. Kody and Robyn Brown, along with their former sister wives Janelle and Mary, have been arguing over the Coyote Pass ownership for years. Mary Brown recently hired a lawyer because she feared Kody wouldn't want to share their home. But it's finally been revealed what the new ownership percentages across the wives are. Coyote Pass is now equally owned by all the sister wives. The two larger lots at Coyote Pass are now equally owned by Robyn, Kody, Janelle, and Mary Brown. However, the other small lot was and continues to be owned by just Kody and Robyn, which is the only part that hasn't changed ownership. Previously, though, Kody's name appeared on 4 lots, while Robyn's was on 2 of them. Janelle jointly owned one of the larger lots with Kody and Mary, and a smaller one with Kody. Mary jointly owned just one of the larger lots with Janelle and Kody, but now has much more ownership across the entire property. Basically, this now means Coyote Pass is equally owned by all the parties involved, and as we all know, Christine Brown wanted nothing to do with it. With Janelle and Mary now living separate lives from Kody and Robyn, it makes much more sense. Janelle and Mary also get one of the smaller lots. Previously, Janelle and Mary didn't own much of Coyote Pass. This time around, though, they both share ownership on one of the smaller lots. Janelle acknowledged that Kody could do whatever he wanted with the property that he and Robyn are on, as their names were on the bulk of the Coyote Pass parcels at the time on a recent episode of Sister Wives. It would be really mean, but he could do it, Janelle told Mary. I hope he hasn't become that person, but I don't know who he is anymore. I don't recognize who this guy is. Kody even admitted himself that he thought about screwing over Janelle, but insisted he hadn't gone through with it because his wife Robyn has a conscience. Janelle doesn't trust me because she would screw me if she could, Kody said. That's what I believe. I'll be honest, I've thought about screwing her. Okay, so I'm being honest, but I won't. It's been a long time coming for the huge family dispute, but finally, we're seeing some amicable agreement that makes sense. Is Sister Wives canceled when the TLC show comes back on for the rest of Season 19? Sister Wives Season 19 hasn't had a new episode since February 2025, and while there are still several episodes left for the current season, rumors have swirled regarding the fate of the TLC show. Now, fans are wondering if Sister Wives has been cancelled. Kody Brown and the rest of the cast haven't seen their last days on TLC just yet. Sister Wives Season 19 went on a mid-season break earlier this year, but fans are just days away from it picking back up. The reality series will return on April 20, 2025, and viewers will get to see how the rest of the season plays out. However, there hasn't been an official announcement from TLC regarding the show's future, and whether it's been renewed for Season 20. Kody Brown's split from 3 of his wives has made filming Sister Wives tough. When Sister Wives first began, Kody was legally married to Mary Brown and spiritually married to Christine Brown and Janelle Brown. The polygamous family was preparing to take on another wife with Robyn Brown, and the goal of the series was to show viewers how their lifestyle worked. However, as the years passed, some of Kody's relationships began to crumble. Christine was the first to announce her split from Kody. They had been spiritually married since March 1994, but in November 2021, Christine revealed that she and Kody were calling it quits. 1 year later, Janelle made the decision to end her relationship with Kody, and in January 2023, Mary was released from her spiritual marriage with the Brown patriarch. Since then, the stars of the show have moved to different places. Janelle purchased property in North Carolina in 2024 and moved there, while Christine remarried and moved outside of Salt Lake City. Mary packed her bags and headed to southwestern Utah. Kody and Robyn remained in Flagstaff, Arizona. The various locations have made filming much harder than it was when everyone was in a central location. Coyote Pass has been front and center of the drama in Sister Wives Season 19. One of the biggest sources of contention for Kody, Robyn, Mary, and Janelle has been the Coyote Pass property they first purchased in 2018. When the land was initially purchased, it was bought for $820,000 with the intention of splitting the property in 5 parcels for him, his 4 wives, and their children. Kody hoped to build one large home for everyone to live in, but the idea was quickly shot down by the others, and due to a variety of reasons, ground was never broken on the property. As Christine, Janelle, and Mary eventually left Kody, the fate of Coyote Pass was left up in the air. Christine sold her share of the property back to Kody and Robyn for $10 in 2022 after their split, but Janelle, Mary, Kody, and Robyn have continued to butt heads about the land. In April 2025, In Touch confirmed that Coyote Pass had been redivided amongst the group. The records from Coconino County, Arizona, show that Kody and Robyn owned 50% of the property, and Janelle and Mary each owned 25%.